Hi, I'm Rob from 10 Degrees Warmer, and today I am very excited to officially launch our video series on the Camino de Santiago. Today's video, I'm going to answer a couple of questions. One, we're going to talk about what the Camino is, in case this is something you might be interested in doing yourself. We're going to talk about why people hike the Camino and why we're going to be hiking it. And then I'm going to go through kind of what the next couple of weeks is going to look like for us, and the videos that we're going to be producing, the things we're going to be talking about, so you kind of know what to expect from our channel going forward for the next, probably couple of months, because I think it's going to be a lot of content. So the Camino de Santiago is a pilgrimage. It is a walk that can begin in a number of locations, but they all end in the town of Santiago de Compostela, which is in the northwestern corner of Spain. Now, this is where in the beginning of the 9th century, the tomb and remains of Saint James, one of the original apostles to Jesus, was discovered and is widely believed to still be there. So many people have been making this pilgrimage for hundreds and hundreds of years. They used to just walk from their home and they would go to, wherever they had to walk to be able to get to Santiago. Today, there are many different routes that are widely established, and you just kind of get to choose which one makes the most sense for you, depending on how far you want to walk or where you might be coming from. Now, for us, we have decided to take the French way, or the French Camino. This is by far the most popular of all the different trails, and it begins in the town of Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port in the south of France. Now, you can actually start much earlier than that. There's much longer hikes you can do if you want, but Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port is a very common starting point for this walk. From there, it crosses the Pyrenees and then across the north of Spain, and it goes for about 800 kilometers, which is about 500 miles of walking. So we are anticipating this is going to take us about 5 weeks. We had originally wanted to take a little bit longer just to kind of stretch it out. However, since I had to come back to Vegas and David stayed there, we kind of started running out of our Schengen days. So we're kind of looking at 35, 38 days that we have to complete it, which I don't think is going to be an issue as long as we don't have any injuries. So keep our fingers crossed there. There are, however, different routes you can take. Now, one of the things that people sometimes are very interested in is being able to walk this as an official pilgrim. There's different pilgrimage offices that you go to and you register, and you get what's called a credential. And as you go, you get stamps in your credential. And then when you arrive at the end, you show this little, Camino passport, as it were, and it shows all the different places that you were at and where you stayed. And they give you a certificate saying you've completed it. Now, in order to earn that certificate, you have to walk at least 100 miles 100 kilometers or 62 miles on one of the official routes to earn your certificate. Now, because of that reason, now not everybody, like I said, this is going to take us probably 5 weeks. Not everybody has that long. There are places that you can start much closer to Santiago that will get you that 100 kilometers. One of the most popular places is on that French route to start. It's a town called Sarria. We will go through that on our own Camino, but that's a very popular starting place because people can make that minimum requirement where they might not have 5 weeks of vacation to do a longer walk. There are also routes that start in Portugal. There's hikes in Italy. There's even a sister Camino hike in Japan. This is definitely something that is very well established, and you're going to be able to kind of make it your own as far as what you want to do. Another thing to consider is the time of year that you want to go walking. This area in Spain, summer times tend to be very popular just because, that's when people get to take vacations. However, that is also the hottest time of the year. Now, we are starting our walk on June 5th. It's a couple of weeks later than we had originally intended. However, we're from Vegas. I'm not really worried about the heat. I think we're going to be fine with that. I think it's going to be a little bit crowded, but we're going to deal with that, and that'll be one of the things that we talk about in our videos. But if you wanted to, a lot of people will hike in like that April, May time or September, October, where things cool down a little bit. They're going to get a little less crowded. But again, this is for the French way. Now, if you were, hiking the Portuguese way or, some of the other routes, the crowds might not be an issue at all for you. The weather might be a little bit different. So it's going to be one of those things you're going to want to look into and figure out what's going to be best for you. Now, the Camino is not a undiscovered little gem that you might take. The word is out. People have seen the movies or read the books that have popularized this. There's a movie that came out in I think around 2012, 2014 with Martin Sheen called The Way, which was an excellent movie. There are several different books, from Paulo Coelho. He wrote The Pilgrimage that I read about 20 years ago, which is a terrific book. I think even Shirley MacLaine has a book about walking the Camino. Several 100,000 people will walk the Camino every year. Now, some routes are more popular than others. Like I said, the French Way is definitely the most popular of all the routes, especially from Sarria to the end, but even from St. John Pied-de-Port. You're going to see the most people there. So if you're looking for community, that might be the route that you want to take, where you're going to be able to meet people along the way and kind of grow what they call your Camino family of people that you see every night in the restaurants and the hotels or the albergues, and you make these, friendships and relationships that might last you a lifetime. So that's definitely a good one if you want to be social. But there are other routes that are just less popular. I think the Portuguese way is one that has been increasing in popularity in the last couple of years as people kind of try and escape those crowds from the French way. But you just kind of get to look and see what's going to work for you and what's going to meet your needs. The Camino has become so significant that in 1993, it was even designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
So why would someone want to walk to a small town called Santiago de Compostela? There are a lot of reasons. Actually, my question is why wouldn't someone want to? But our question is why? Religious reasons are the traditional reason for taking the way. They've done surveys recently, and they found that about a third of people hiking the way are doing it for religious reasons. Actually, slightly edging out religion is people doing it for the challenge. And there are a lot of ways that this is a challenge. It is a mental challenge. It is a physical challenge for sure. 20 years ago, we could have done this no problem. Now at our age, our bodies are not as resilient as they used to be, and so we really want to take this journey and have this experience now when we feel we are fit enough to do it, but it will be a bit of a challenge. Now, I think the next reason why a lot of people do it is for disconnecting, getting away from it all. There's a lot of mental reasons within this. Recharging, reconnecting with yourself, reevaluating what you're doing with your life. And I think that is another huge reason why people are doing this. Now, the next one is connecting with nature. This one connects to me also. You know how much I love birds. I will be carrying a heavy pair of binoculars with me, which I'm sure a lot of people will think is ridiculous. But to me, that's a huge reason of why I'm taking this journey, is to explore the nature of this region. Another great reason to do it is for cultural reasons. This is a great part of the world with its own unique culture and history. There are churches and villages along the way that'll be fascinating to see. And there's a great food culture in this region. I can't wait to try the food, wine culture. And that's a little bit of why I'm going also. Now, personally, I have always been a fan of adventure stories, adventure novels, the movies, and especially I love the journey type of adventure. The one in which a group of different people get together and hike across a strange land for a common purpose to reach some goal. And there's a lot of great examples. Ones that I absolutely love are the hike across Oz, Wizard of Oz, the Land of Nod from the Phantom Tollbooth, let's see, Westeros, or Middle-earth, or Narnia, or Huck Finn traveling the mighty Mississippi, Wonderland, Neverland, Lilliput from Gulliver's Travel. There are just so many great adventures, and I am excited to have a journey adventure of my own. Another great reason people are doing it is for community. Thousands of people from all over the world are joining together on a similar quest just to experience it with these other people who are similar minded to you. A great way to meet people and to connect to people that you have a lot in common with. So there are about 1 million other reasons why people might want to do this, whether it's for a daily meditation out of curiosity to improve their health because it's there. Tons of reasons. Every one of them is legit and wonderful. And most people probably have more than one reason for wanting to do it. Certainly we do. In fact, I'm very curious as to what your reasons are. Tell us in the comments if you have done this or if you plan to do this, why you decided to hike the Camino. We would love to hear. Some of those reasons might become our own. We hike every day. We've been practicing for this for years. Every single time I'm on a walk, I imagine to myself that I am hiking the Camino and how amazing that journey is going to be. We are ready and we cannot wait to start.
So what we're planning is a mix of standalone videos and daily vlogs. You know, the standalone videos I think are going to be some of the bigger topics like, you know, what did we pack, going through our backpack and showing you all the different gear and why we decided to bring what we brought. I will probably do a review of that gear at the end of the video, at the end of the series, you know, after we make it there, to let you know which things we're glad we brought, which things maybe we didn't really need, which things we wish we had brought with us, to go through that process with you. And then there's going to be our daily vlogs where we're going to give you a lot of information. We're going to talk about where we stayed every night. Did we stay in a public albergue? Did we stay in an Airbnb or a hotel somewhere? Did we get private rooms? Were we in dorm rooms? There's so many options and we kind of want to try a little bit of everything. We want to talk about where did we eat? Where were we finding our food? How are we meeting people? How far did we walk every day? Are we getting blisters on our feet or what are we doing to avoid blisters? And kind of just go through those very practical sides of what we're doing every day on the Camino. On the other hand, I think there's a lot of smaller topics that we can also cover in these videos. You know, just talking about transportation and gear. How do you pick shoes? You know, which kind of shoes do you want to wear? Do you need hiking poles? What are you going to do about blisters? Are you able to find pharmacies along the way to find the, you know, supplies that you might need? We can talk about the apps that we use and how you find your way to, you know where to walk. What is the etiquette of being a pilgrim, both on the trail and in the albergues? And how do you relate to people? Can you get by without speaking very much Spanish? There's a lot of those kind of questions that I think we'll be able to cover in those shorter vlogs. At the end of the day, we just want this to be a series that might be very helpful for anyone who is a little bit curious about going on the Camino themselves. But I think this can be a really attractive activity for some of us long-term travelers who are looking for something, you know, that's maybe a little bit more meaningful than just being a tourist in another big city. It's a little bit different, and like David was talking about, it's just more of an opportunity for maybe a little bit of growth, some good physical activity, you know, and having that time to have some introspection and check in with ourselves and make sure we're having the experience we want to be having. If you are interested in finding out if walking the Camino de Santiago is something you might want to do in your own travels, this is a really good time to hit that subscribe button. And I would encourage you to hit the bell notification, which will give you a notification every time we release a new video. Generally speaking, on our channel, we do about one video a week. However, I can tell you for this series, I think we're going to be releasing a lot more videos than that just because there's going to be so much content. So if we release a video on a Tuesday or a Thursday or something, you're going to want to get those notifications so you don't miss anything because we're going to be going through everything. I hope we'll see you around as we share this experience in Buen Camino.
Today and not tomorrow.